Okay, get this. A whale just punched the ocean. On purpose. And the sound it made was loud enough to be heard 2 miles away. 2 miles! That is not a splash. That is a statement. Welcome back, everyone, and today we are diving deep into one of the most dramatic things happening in the ocean right now. Whales are out there slapping the water with their giant fins over and over again. And for a really long time, scientists just kind of shrugged and said, yeah, we are not totally sure why. But now we know. And honestly, the real reasons are so much cooler than anyone expected. Let us start with the basics. The move we are talking about today is called pectoral fin slapping. Some people call it peck slapping for short. Humpback whales are the champions of this behavior. Their pectoral fins are absolutely enormous. We are talking fins that can be up to 16 feet long. That is longer than most cars. Now imagine picking up a car and slamming it sideways into water. That is basically what a humpback whale does when it peck slaps. And it does not just do it once. Sometimes a whale will slap the water hundreds of times in a row without stopping. Hundreds. Scientists have recorded whales going for over an hour straight. An hour of just whacking the ocean. There had to be a reason. So here's the first big surprising truth. Fin slapping is communication. Like actual language. Not the singing kind of whale communication you have probably heard about. This is percussion. This is drumming. The slap creates a shock wave that travels through the water for enormous distances. Other whales feel it, they hear it. And here is the wild part. Different patterns of slaps mean different things. A slow, steady slap can mean something completely different from a rapid-fire burst of slaps. Researchers studying humpbacks off the coast of Australia started cataloging these patterns and realized the whales were essentially sending coded messages. One whale slaps a specific rhythm. Another whale miles away changes its behavior in response. That is not a coincidence. That is a conversation happening across miles of open ocean. Now, here is where it gets even more interesting. Scientists discovered that fin slapping increases dramatically during certain social situations. When a male whale is competing with other males for the attention of a female, the slapping goes absolutely crazy. Multiple whales, all slapping at the same time, creating this underwater percussion battle. And the female? She's listening. She's paying attention to who slaps the most confidently, who keeps the rhythm the longest, who has the most powerful impact. The loudest, most persistent slapper is basically saying, hey, look how strong I am. Look how much energy I have. I am the best choice here. It is like a talent show. Except the talent is aggressively hitting water with your arm for an hour. But wait, it is not just about romance. Here is surprising fact number 2, and this one genuinely blew marine biologists away when they figured it out. Whales use fin slapping to herd fish. Yes, they use it as a hunting tool. Humpback whales are incredibly smart hunters, and they have developed all kinds of techniques over thousands of years. One of those techniques involves slapping the surface of the water near a school of fish. The sound and the shock wave confuses and frightens the fish. It stuns them a little, sends them into a panic. The fish bunch together in a tight group trying to escape the noise. And then the whale, or sometimes a whole group of whales working together, swoops in from below with its mouth wide open. The fin slap basically rings the dinner bell, except the whale is also the dinner. You know what I mean. Now let us talk about surprising fact number 3, and this is my personal favorite. Baby whales learn fin slapping by watching their mothers. It is a learned skill passed down through generations. Scientists call this cultural transmission, which sounds very fancy, but basically means whales have culture. They have traditions. A mother whale in one part of the ocean might have a slightly different slapping style than a mother whale on the other side of the world. And her baby will grow up slapping the water in that same regional style. When researchers compared recordings of whale populations that had never interacted with each other, they found genuine differences in slapping technique. Like accents. Whale slapping accents. Different communities doing the same basic thing, but with their own local flavor. That is not instinct. That is something taught, something shared, something passed down like a family recipe, except the recipe is for smacking water really hard. Here is something else that surprised researchers. Fin slapping seems to have a weather connection. Whales slap more during rough seas and stormy conditions. Why? Because when the waves are big and the water is churned up and loud, regular whale vocalizations do not carry as well. The ocean gets noisy, so whales switch to a louder mode. They switch to the physical percussion of fin slapping because a physical shockwave travels through water, better than a sound that has to compete with storm noise. They adapt their communication style based on conditions. They troubleshoot. They problem solve in real time. That is genuinely impressive behavior from an animal that does not have hands or a phone or any of the things we use to solve problems. All right, surprising fact number 4. This one is about the physics, and it is kind of amazing. When a humpback whale peck slaps, the impact is not just noise. It actually creates a visible shockwave on the surface of the water, a ring of disruption that spreads out like when you throw a rock in a pond, except massive. And that ring carries information too. Whales below the surface can detect the pattern of that wave physically, not just through sound, through pressure, through feeling it in their entire body. So the communication is happening on multiple levels at once, auditory and physical at the same time. Like if you sent a text message and also threw a tennis ball at someone simultaneously to make sure they definitely got the message. There is also one more reason for fin slapping that is a little more personal. Sometimes whales are just dealing with parasites. Humpback whales carry barnacles on their skin, and whale lice, which is exactly as horrible as it sounds. Slapping the surface creates enough force and enough turbulence to dislodge some of those hitchhikers. It is basically a whale giving itself a deep tissue massage by hitting the ocean really hard. So sometimes the message being sent is not to another whale at all. Sometimes it is just, ugh, I am itchy and this feels good. And honestly, incredibly relatable. What I love most about all of this is how it changes the way you see that moment. Next time you watch a video of a whale slapping the water, you are not just watching a big animal doing a random thing. You are watching a creature send a signal across miles of ocean. You are watching a hunter set a trap. You are watching a student practicing what their mother taught them. You are watching a drummer play a language that humans are only just beginning to understand. You are watching something communicate in a way that has been working perfectly fine for millions of years before we showed up with our underwater microphones and our notebooks. The ocean is full of conversations, most of them we have never heard. Most of them we still cannot understand. But every time a whale lifts that enormous fin and brings it crashing down, it is saying something. Something real. Something important. Maybe to another whale across the water. Maybe to a school of fish that's about to have a very bad afternoon. Maybe to a calf swimming nearby, watching carefully, learning the family way of doing things. And maybe just a little bit to us. Telling us to pay attention. Telling us there is so much more going on out here than we ever realized. So here's my question for you today, and I want to see your answers in the comments. If you could understand just one animal's communication, if you could instantly speak and understand the language of any creature on Earth, which animal would you choose and why? Drop it below. I read every single one, and I will see you in the next video.